Hi, this is James Gordon here with my latest book review. Today's book I'll be discussing today, Shaun Hutson, Assassin. This was first published in 1988 by H.W. Allen. This is my fourth book by Shaun Hutson I've read, and this is actually also a reread. Years ago, I had the paperback, which was basically just a plain black background with this kind of like cut out and just slapped onto the cover, and it was just kind of a really good quality cover, and I didn't get far in it. I think my problem with it was back then, I think it was just a little too much at once when I first read it, and I didn't really read more of it, but I'm glad that I got this hardcover edition, which I like this cover a lot better, and read more of it, as this was an excellent book. Kind of wish I read further than the paperback edition I had. I probably would have liked it, but anyway, this is my fourth book. My fourth book I read by Shaun Hutson, and this was an absolute blast. And I'll definitely be reading more Shaun Hutson novels in the future, and reread some of his other books I read. And before I say my final thoughts on this book, let me discuss a little bit about it and what happens. Okay, on to the review. Plot. A crazed priest is taken out of an old decaying church in the East End of London, as several old buildings are going to be demolished. When the priest is sedated to calm him down, however, just as he reaches the hospital, he dies from a heart attack. When the church and other buildings are destroyed, 5 construction workers are killed, followed by 2 homeless people by 3 zombie-like creatures who cut off their flesh and wear it. Ray Carter and his brother James Carter are bodyguards for a ruthless mob boss, Frank Harrison. Both brothers had a very rough life when their mother died of cancer. Then 3 years later, their father passed away. Unable to fit in, Ray went to join the army. James worked at a pub. After returning from the army, Ray became a boxer but quit after killing his opponent. Ray ended up working with his brother till they met Frank. While guarding Frank at his own restaurant with his beautiful and very sexy girlfriend, Tina Richardson, James comes in to take Ray's shift in his Jaguar as Ray walks over to the restaurant getting himself a beer. Suddenly, a black Dodson pulls beside the Jaguar. Carter watches in horror when his brother's face is blown to pieces by a magnum. 2 men storm out of the car and fire away with submachine guns, nearly killing Carter, Frank, and Tina. One of them throws a bomb, destroying Frank's restaurant. Carter runs out and fires back, but is wounded in the shoulder but survives. Outraged, Frank wants revenge on the person who tried to murder him, along with the death of his bodyguard. But Carter's problems are far from over, as he is secretly having an affair with Tina behind his boss's back. Tina wants to leave Frank badly, who abuses and hurts her badly. She's even thinking of killing him to escape his tight grip. Meanwhile, the police are dealing with a series of vicious and brutal murders of the wealthy and most richest families in England. Leader of a dangerous gang, Jonathan Crawford, is being tried for the savage murder of Mrs. Donselin, along with her 2 daughters. The public is shocked and disgusted by the gruesome nature of how Jonathan murdered them, and yet he and his followers believe they are doing the right thing. His remaining members are already plotting out the next rich scumbag to kill. Frank has his men buy a weapon from an arms dealer after another restaurant, and 2 of his men are killed, with Carter starting to question if one of his own men is behind the recent attack, since they haven't found any leads that another gang or syndicate is behind these attacks. Jonathan Crawford is sentenced to life imprisonment and is deemed criminally insane. His girlfriend Rose is also arrested and suffered trial, believes she is part of the murders. However, when police go to interview her, they are shocked to find Rose has killed herself by stabbing the bed leg into her stomach and bled out to death. His followers discussed about breaking him out of prison, but the rest of the crew rejects the idea, stating it will be too risky. Instead, they target another rich family and brutally murder them. While Tina is out shopping with Carter and Menham as her bodyguards, after leaving a clothing store and making their way towards a shoe store, a white Astra pulls up beside them, and the passenger opens fire on their Citroen. Menham is badly wounded in the shoulder, with Carter speeding through London streets trying to lose their attackers. However, the attackers are hell-bent on killing them and refuse to let anyone get in their way. They kill 2 officers who join in on the chase, causing them to crash their cruiser into a crowd of people eating. Menham then gets his head blown off. Carter is able to ram the Astra off the road and cap a few rounds from his pistol, scoring a headshot on the driver as the Astra crashes into a furniture store with more police joining in. Carter ditches the Citroen, forces the driver out of his car with Tina and him escaping in time before the police show up. Carter calls Frank and tells him about the attack that just happened and gets a call that McIntyre is believed to be the one who betrayed him. Frank is furious and leaves Carter to watch Tina in his flat while he goes to kill McIntyre. While he's out, Carter and Tina have sex. McIntyre is beaten to death by Frank as he's tied down in a chair. He claims that he isn't the one who tipped off the attackers on Frank, but he isn't buying it. Frank then has McIntyre's left knee cap drilled out. Then Frank pulls out several of his teeth with pliers. Unsure if McIntyre was telling the truth or not, Frank has him disposed of. Then three sharply dressed men show up in Frank's strip club. Their leader, David Mitchum, demands to see Frank in person as they threaten to kill Carter and Drake. Frank allows David Mitchum to enter his office along with the other two men. Mitchum wants to work for Frank as a pair of assassins, stating he and his crew can remove all the mob bosses of London, giving Frank full control of the city. He agrees to Mitchum's deal, but wants Carter to drive for him. Frank wants Carter to report it to him after each hit is done. However, Mitchum and his crew have Carter drop them off at different parts of London while regrouping so he can't tell Frank where they are. Carter takes part in a series of mob boss hits while Mitchum plays heavy metal music during each kill. Using both submachine guns along with a Spot 12 shotgun, brutally killing his targets, not once does he miss or get wounded. Meanwhile, Crawford's gang has selected the next target, Frank Harrison. However, the members aren't sure since the man is well guarded and fully armed with guns. However, the leader has an idea: kidnap his girlfriend Tina and use her against Frank. But Mitchum has other plans for Frank because he's got a few skeletons left in his closet. Assassin is a very intense, shocking, and brutal novel. Shaun Hutson mixes crime with horror and cranks up the violence, mayhem, and action, not once backing off at any time. Highly detailed with the gritty late 80s streets of London along with the abandoned decaying places. There were a lot of horrible, ruthless, and nasty characters within the world of Assassin, with only a few characters I cared for. Both Frank Harrison and Jonathan Crawford and his gang members were the most despicable. I was looking forward to see these characters get what was coming to them. Overall, Assassin is a solid crime slash horror hybrid that delivers, and not once was I disappointed with anything. No extra filler or anything to waste your time. It gets right to it. If you want a crime mixed horror novel that doesn't hold anything back, check out Assassin. You won't regret it. All right. As I said, this is an excellent book. It holds nothing back. It is brutal, shocking, disgusting at times, and just awesome. This book has a lot of like hardcore action and intense shootouts, brutal fight scenes, epic car chases. And when I was reading this, I was surprised this book has been made to a film, because this would make an excellent crime horror film. It just, if you had the right director and crew on board, they could pull something off really good here. And I really wish more Shaun Hutson novels and other authors that I really like were made to films. Like I feel like a lot of good books that I read should deserve a chance to get on the big screen. But anyway, I really enjoyed this book, and if you've not heard of it, I recommend check it out because it's an excellent book and it's really good. And I'll definitely be doing more Shaun Hutson novels in the future. Alright, that is it for this video today. Sorry this took so long. This month has been really crazy for me and a bit stressful, which is why oh man, I just kind of been exhausted. This month has just kind of drained me, and all the shit that's been happening lately it's been taking a toll on me. But I'm trying to do everything I can just to get through it and try to find some happiness in my life. So so my plans are in November. Well, starting at the end of this month, I will be reading Willie Gibson's Virtual Light and try to get through much as I can into November so I get the book done. Then read Stephen Hunter's Dirty White Boy so I can have my 2 series done. As I'll just be reading science fiction horror novels I got already. Bailey Little's University out, and I'm thinking of reading George Orwell's 1984 and some other science fiction books, and I'll just be reading those 2 genres for a while before changing it up again. If you like this video, please like it, share it, and don't forget to subscribe to October Library and the Facebook group and the YouTube channel the same name. A place you can post share a place you can post, share, and review fiction. Until then, I'll catch you later.